Kathy here from Santa Marta Designs. So we've got some ornament balls that we're going to do tonight, but we're only going to do one. I did a little bit of this ahead of time to see what I wanted to do, what was going to work better. So we have the shoes already done because those were the ones that, these little buggers are the ones that take me the longest. And it's just because I needed to pick everything out, and they're still a little bit more plain than what I wanted to make them, but I think they're okay for this purpose. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a 4-panel section ball. And if you guys haven't seen, we have these patterns for doing this, which includes the instructions in our Etsy shop. And hi Lourdes. And you can get the pattern which comes with the right, this one. I write so many things on things. So you can get this 4-inch ball pattern which comes in 4 sections. And then you can get this, we call it 2.8 inch, but it's really I call it a 3-inch ball. This 3-inch round ball pattern, which is really like the Dollar Tree size that you can get. Then you have the egg pattern, which is great for all the Easter stuff. And then you also get this 4-inch ball with 6 section panels. And I know some people said, well, I want to do a 3-inch with 6 sections. So you can still take this 2.8 inch and just cut some off the edges on your actual fabric to make it a 6-inch, sorry, not a 6-inch, a 6-section panel type of ornament ball. But for this one, since I wanted to do it more like a reminder of Santa, I wanted to do like the red style jacket. And we have a bunch of yarn here sitting in the chair. I can't even sit down with how much stuff is in the chair. And this yarn picks up all the feathers. I'm trying to finish up a boot, a witch boot, and it picks up all the ostrich type feathers. Is it ostrich feathers or some kind of animal feather they call it? So we have I brought in a bunch of different sizes. So we have this really thick one. We have this like medium one. Oh no, wait, no, sorry. This is the small one. This is the medium one, and then this is the thick one. So you'll see what we do with that in a little bit, but we're going to put all that aside. This is actually red flannel. So I'm hoping it's not too thick. If it is, we have other options, which I hope we don't have to use. But even if you wanted to take your project to a different level, we have, like, just as an example, we have this red shiny fabric, which is like really nice for a red sheen. Then we have this ornamental red fabric, which goes really well too. And then if you wanted to make it more country-like, you could also do like this red buffalo check kind of pattern. So just some options to keep you guys thinking on your toes of what you'd like to do with your project. So since we've got our panels already cut out, I like to use my Cricut spatula tool. You know, some people have used other tools, but have also said that they didn't like them as much because it left like really big indentations in their grooves that they've cut. So I don't use any glue until we get to whatever covers our seams. Okay, and I'll see I just went a little bit over, so I just need to be a little bit more gentle in where I'm going because I just made a little bit of a dig, but that will cover itself up, and you can barely even see that. Now if I get it out of camera, you guys just yell at me. And the other thing is about these balls that I'm using, they're not the normal size balls that I use, so I'm hoping this fabric gives a little bit because they're not quite the same size. They feel like they're a little bit bigger. Actually, they were a little bit bigger because usually when I measure, it's about a 31 centimeter diameter. And when I measured, it was 33. And I'm like, huh, that's strange. It was just from a different supplier. And I usually get them wholesale, but I went to the store real quick one day and had seen some on sale, and I was like, oh, let me grab some of these and see how well these work. Well, I like definitely the ones from my wholesaler better. So we'll be sticking to the other ones, but we're going to use these for now. We got to use them So we're going to use them. And I'm just trying to get out any kinks that I made because I pulled on the fabric. And the best part about not having to use any glue so far is these pull out real easy to get any of these little kinks out. Okay. I know it's super late on a Wednesday and you guys might be catching me on the replay, and that's okay. Just if you are, type in replay in the comments so I can say hi. You know, thank you for coming back on the replay. I appreciate it. So if you haven't seen our why we've been gone so long video, check that video out. It's in our video section. I have like this bright pink sweatshirt on. Can't miss it. But you can check out why we've been gone and why it took so long to come back. All right, so that's one little section done. We're going to continue going all the way around. And what I like to do is come to the top here and make sure that one of the points is being covered. Then I go to the other side and make sure the other point section is covered. And then I kind of like to hold it down on both sides while I check to see where I need to kind of shimmy my fabric over to one side versus the other to cover up those grooves so that we're not going to come out of line. And then I like to start in the middle, and I kind of hold down to see where my little cut is. And the cut is always going to be where my pen mark is. You can use marker. I use pen. It's the same thing for me. I find that if I use marker, I end up not being able to get it off my hand so quickly. But you know what? You can use whatever you want. And I find if I use marker, sometimes I just make a mistake sometimes, and I don't know why. Pen just seems to roll better for me on the styrofoam. Just come in, and these are actually like cuticle scissors that you can get like at the dollar store, and they work really well for cutting this kind of stuff because they have a little bit of a curve. It's not like these flat kind of scissors that are really bulky and you can't get right up against there. I like them because they're just very narrow to the surface, and I can get right up against the fabric there without cutting it and trim all the way around. And it's okay if there's a little bit of a seam showing because that's going to cover up with our white trim. So we're going to use some of that white yarn to cover that up. Have an option, glue webs I can see. You guys have an option on hats tonight. Now we do have to do the trim over the lines first, but you guys have an option on hats. So this one's not finished. Neither one of them are finished, but option on hats is, and this is not completely done. It's not going to stay like this, but this hat has a red pom-pom. It's not going to be white pom-pom. And it is going to have white puff around the edge with the yarn. But so we can either do this one with the white edge with the red pom-pom, or we can do this one which will have the white edge, and then we can make it have a white pom-pom, but it would be like a really small little pom-pom, just like a little cutesy pom-pom. So you guys decide whether you want the white pom-pom hat, I'll put that here, white pom-pom hat or red pom-pom hat, while we select our trim, which is like our seam cover. Okay, so we're either going to use, you know, I don't use yarn a lot and it just bugs me out where it starts from. Like I can never figure it out. Isn't it always like you're supposed to pull from the middle? Because I never seem to find it. Let me tell you. Who works with yarn a lot? Like actually knits? Anybody? What's the secret here, guys? Because I never, ever, ever find it. Now, I haven't pulled on this a lot. So this was already from the store like this. Well, let's see what we want. So we can either do like this medium one, which I still think is kind of big. I think we might go with the smaller one. Who's my knitters? Oh, see? This one worked fine. Pulled from the middle and here was the edge. I think it's what you call it. Not sure, Michelle. Maybe Michelle's referring to the Cricut tool, maybe. I like this one because it's not so bulky, because we're gonna have a wide Pom-Pom Hat trim here, so I like this smaller one. So we're gonna use this one. I'm calling it. We're using this one. Okay, so now this is where we use some glue. Just lost my little mat for my glue. Okay. So I'm going to try and hide the edge where the hat goes, and I don't really think there is a side that I like better. They matched up pretty good either side, so we're just going to use this as the top. Now sometimes you can kind of look at your top and bottom and see if maybe one side didn't line up so straight, and use the one that you're going to hide with a topper to be the top part of your ball. Versus the bottom that would maybe show. And I liked this idea of this fuzzy yarn just because it reminded me of a Santa suit a little bit more. Now this is just my interpretation, so your interpretation could be different. Oh, just got my glue stuck. My glue gun hasn't worked in so long, it's probably like, hey, what are you doing? I was still on vacation. Not that we were on vacation, I can tell you that much. Oh, good. CT likes the thinner one too. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Shoot, we're going to rip this up right away. Oh, and it's going to pull my fabric. Let's see if I can pull it up right away without... You know what I forgot to do? Okay, well, we can leave that. Hold on. Jump the gun, guys. I jumped the gun. Okay, let's slow it down, Kathy, because we forgot our belt. Oh. Well, technically, you know what? I didn't need to pull that up because Santa usually uses his belt over his coat. Let's see what looks better now that I already pulled it up. Ah, yeah, we're going to put it over. Son of a biscuit. Let's see if we can't pop this back in here. I was thinking maybe, in my mind, I was thinking, oh, maybe I should have put it under the white trim. But I think actually it will look fine. Okay, let's redo. Guys, we're right back to never a dull moment here. Never a dull moment. I think if I put it over, it will look kind of cute, like it's pinching his suit, the belt. I got kind of scared for a second that it was going to look kind of yucky. But we can move on. I don't suggest you do that with hot glue. But if you have some glue that shows, then you can just go back with that with like either a heat gun or a hair dryer. And if it shows a little bit, just kind of remelt it into the fabric. That's not going to be too bad, so it's fine. We're just going to cut right there. I'm not going to worry about it meeting up exactly because it's going to get hidden by the hat. So we're just going to close that up. It doesn't matter if it overlaps or not. And then we're going to go this way. Now, I think we're done with this yarn. And I think we're going to really use this really thick chunky yarn. And I could have sworn I had one already open, but I couldn't find it. So we're just going to use this one. See, this one worked too. So what I was thinking, considering I just stuck it to the table, what I was thinking is first we're going to check out where we want the hat. So we're going to use the white pom-pom hat. We're going to stick this on here, this little guy, but we're going to fluff him up a little bit. He was, I think, napping in the bag that he came in. So he's got bag hair. Oh, we almost stuck that on the ball. So let's stick this on here. And then I think what we're going to do is we're going to first glue the hat on the ball. And then what we're going to do is put the yarn on it because I think it will just be easier than messing around with this and then the hat kind of come undone. That way we know it goes right to the edge, right against the ball. Okay. We on there? Okay, I think we're on there. Now, this is our top. So, what I was thinking is we're going to kind of put this on there. And we're going to kind of mess with this a little bit so that it peaks up a little bit more. Yeah, like that's better. Okay. All right, so let's start gluing. Do is work on the belt. So the belt is going to go all the way around and I got this little shiny, shimmery, non-wired ribbon trim. And I think that's what we're going to do. And I have a little gold, like little fake buckle that we have here. I think we're going to do it right in the middle of the seams here. Or do you think we should do it right in the middle here? Oh, I think we should do it right in the middle here. It's almost like it's his jacket is closing. I like that look better. Okay, so we're going to put this little edge here hiding so everything will be hidden. So I like that. Let me actually put his belt up a little bit higher. So I think we're going to put his belt up like right about here. I think that would look good. So let's start his belt, but let's just kind of make a fresh trim on this because it's kind of like at an angle and bugging me. There we go. Now I'm not so bothered by it anymore. All right, so let's put a little bit of glue here and a little bit of glue there just to start our edge off. And for those of you asking about Chance, he's still a pup. He's over here napping. I'm surprised he's not acting up because he usually acts up when I'm live. He just decides to be a little naughty. He starts flipping his bed around, wanting some puppy attention. I think it's because I took him for a tiny trot down the street beforehand. Get a little bit of his energy out. Okay, so I'm just going to put a couple of dabs of glue so that it holds where it kind of puffs out from the seams of the trim. Let's make sure I'm kind of lining this back up a little bit. Because that would be me that gets the build kind of like off track. There we go. Okay, I think I'm kind of on track if I stay there. All right, that's good. All right. Gonna fix the trim on the hat, and by fix I mean attach, so that way it actually looks like more of a Santa hat. Okay, we're gonna put the seam to the back, that way it's less noticeable. Okay, so we're gonna go right up to the edge of the hat. We're going to start putting that down. See how I just made a cute little hat, and all this is, guys, is a sock. It's just a sock. What we're going to do is, geez, get rid of all the glue webs first. We're going to stick these dowels in here a little bit, and what I think I'm going to do is just try and cut this in half. I like using my heavy duty pliers here. Let's see how long this is. This is like 4 inches. Yeah, just about. So we're going to cut in half so that we have about 2 inches on each side. And guys, these are from the Dollar Tree. They're just like the skewers that you get for like the food skewers. I don't know what else to tell you. It's just a food skewer. I'm going to see, because this styrofoam here is also from the Dollar Tree. Sometimes it's a little hard to poke through, but I think I can poke through that one. We have some fuzz from our yarn. Still stuck there. I think I just noticed it. So we're going to add some glue to our skewer here. We're going to stick that all the way down. And we're going to grab another one. And they usually come with like a really pointy point. I just kind of cut that off, or I might use it sometimes. Most of the times I cut it off is because the length in total that I usually need them, the point doesn't do well. Oh my gosh, I can't find where the end of this glue web is. And so I don't usually use the point, but sometimes the point does help if you're trying to poke it through. All right, so let's find a good spot to poke it in the front. Oh, that's not dry, and that burned. Let's not do that anymore. Be careful with your glue being dry or not. I'm always afraid with X-Acto knives not being covered because I'm one for that to roll right off the table and stab myself. Now, I think these are still a little bit long, to be honest with you. So we're going to cut them down maybe just a smidge, like a 1/4 inch. There. I feel a little bit better now. And we're going to try and find like a happy point to put these. Like, I kind of want them in the front, but facing down a little bit. So kind of like right there. So I'm just kind of gonna like make a groove right there. I know it's really hard for you to see on camera, but I can see it. So I'm going to use my awl and kind of see if that would work. I think that looks cute. My little ball has feet. Little Santa ball has feet. Now I'm going to put a little extra glue here because this one I made kind of fast and didn't have extra glue that I like. I don't want his feet to fall. All right, now while that one's drying, sometimes it looks like if one is a right or a left. Actually, I think they look good like that. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put glue right here, and that will begin to like squeeze out a little bit. And I'm gonna stab this guy right in there. And we're gonna hold it for a sec. Now, if it looks like it kind of might have like an opening there, I just need to kind of hold it for a second so that way it doesn't keep falling out. What we're gonna probably do is cover that with some really thin either trim or some of the yarn. So I could come in here with some of the leather trim that I used here and just cover that up. So we'll see what happens. We're just gonna kind of wait until that dries a little bit so that the glue doesn't press out or the shoe doesn't press out. Okay. And then we're gonna come right about, say here, with his other shoe. Now this is probably why I hated to do gnomes, because this part I always hated. Trying to figure out how to center everything. I can make it happen, but that's not the centering part. It's like I have a bad eyeball for that. It's kind of like we're making a Mr. Santa potato head. But you can't change out his parts. Oh my gosh, look how cute he is. I love him. Oh my gosh. We should do a reindeer one. Oh gosh. I just had an idea. I just had an idea. Okay, I think this glue's good. So let's see what we can do to cover that. Where's the white trim we used? I had it around here somewhere. Give me a second, I'll find it over here. So we'll either use that or where's the leather trim I had? I put it back here. We could use the leather trim, or let's see if we maybe put some of this in there to cover his shoes. Because so the shoe has like a flat edge, and obviously we're putting it up against a ball that is curved. So there's going to be a section of the shoe that is always going to show. So we're just trying to figure out what's going to work best to cover that up. I know there was going to be specifics in here that we couldn't kind of figure all out. I kind of like this that ties everything up with all the other trim, and we can get that in there really tight. So I kind of like that. We'll do one shoe one way for now. And then we also have the weight trim that we could go back in, but that matches the shoelaces too much. So I'm already not liking that one. So I think we're going to say no to the weight trim because that's like the shoelace fabric. And then we could maybe do the leather trim, but that might be too skinny. That might not cover everything up. So let's see what happens here. It covers it up a good amount. It does cover it up a good amount. So what would you guys prefer? I think I like the white trim that matches like the Sue on the boots. I'm trying to see, like, the screen is delayed, so I can't even see if you can see it. Maybe from this side. So the trim on the shoe would match this trim, or we could do the black leather, which I would just need to glue that in a little bit. What do you guys think? Black leather trim or the white fluffy trim? I like the white fluffy one. It's almost like those little Ugg boots. We're going to start from maybe the inside of the boot to maybe hide the seam a little bit better. There we have it. I just put my hands in warm glue still. And there's our little Santa inspired ornament ball. I think he's the cutest little doll ever. And so, like, if you wanted to just maybe use these as your attachments for your wreath with maybe a bow, you could do that in case you wanted more of like a Santa feel to it versus a sign. You know, but signs are cool. You could add these with signs. I've seen people do that. And if you're not like a really big bow person, because there's some people that just don't like the big fluffy bows and they'd rather just have like some other stuff on it, then you could do that. There's so many different ways you could do it. So if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, we'd love to have you on as a subscriber.